I've already gotten a few emails with people having to do their mock interviews. So I want to be respectful of your time because I know that is this week. So, with that being said, the recording has started. We are in chapter 4, and chapter 4 is about having an online presence. Give me a thumbs up for those of you that have some type of online account. LinkedIn, uh, Instagram, Facebook. People still use Facebook? I don't know. Give me a thumbs up if you have a Facebook account. I'm just curious. Oh, okay. I guess a few people still. Okay. Yeah, it's still going strong. Okay. Yeah. I stopped that a few years ago. I'm not. Oh, a lot of people have Facebooks. Okay. Where am I? I'm missing out, I guess. Well, we're going to talk about this online presence. I'm glad to know that most of you have an online presence, but what we want you to understand is that when you are using your online presence to promote yourselves in your career, it's it's a lot different from when you are doing it socially for obvious reasons. Yes, we know that LinkedIn is the, I guess, the official professional platform. It's almost considered your portfolio now. And you, in chapter 4, you'll hear it say, you'll hear, I mean, you'll read that LinkedIn is like a portfolio of sorts. You know, years ago we would have to walk around with portfolios. If you guys, even remember, Office Depot selling these things called portfolios, because you literally would have to walk around with your resume in hand, evaluations, customer reviews, and you would put it all together in this portfolio and you would walk around with it. And when you had interviews, they would say, "Can I see your portfolio?" You may have seen it like really popular in public relations or marketing, careers, or even on television. They mimic that a lot, where they'll say, "Oh, let me see your portfolio." But in business, that's common too, and even in your fields, it was common to walk around with portfolios. But that was years and years ago. LinkedIn kind of took over that, and so now LinkedIn is the official portfolio website where you get to go and you can put your resume, you can put you know reviews from your previous jobs. Your jobs can give you a review, a star. Oh, this is a great person. Give you different, you know, um, recommendations. As someone to hire, a really good expert at this, and all kinds of different stuff you can learn on there. You can put different, certifications, all kinds of stuff on there. Some people, I haven't even utilized the full functionality of LinkedIn. There's, education on there, all kinds of different things that, can be beneficial to you. But one of the biggest benefits of LinkedIn is the networking opportunities. LinkedIn for me is the only place right now where you can actually connect with a CEO. Like, you can connect with the CEO of Microsoft, and it be considered normal because they have a platform, and that platform is to engage others. And oftentimes they will, have these live sessions where they'll post things about their company, and you can comment on their page. You can send a message, and you can actually engage with people. You probably can engage with, surprised. It's very common. Let me just 1 second. Let me mute. It's very common to see that activity because people just expect that when you're on there that you are going to be professional. But even other pages, Facebook pages, there are professional pages there. Companies have professional Instagram pages. And we are suggesting that you do the same. There's nothing to say that you can't have your own personal page, or, for your family and friends, but then you can have another page that is professional. Another reason why we encourage you to do that is because if you're the type of person that utilizes a lot of platforms, whether you use, your Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and you're doing postings on there, everything that you post on, the web can be, you know, discovered, if you will, especially if it's not on a personal page and your personal page is not, have securities and all those types of things. a prudent company, if they wanted to find you, will, right? So you may say, why would someone want to do that? I'm telling you right now that over 50% of companies Google their applicants. The same way that you Google them, and I've told you that if you are going to interview with someone, you should get their first and last name so you can Google them. You know, it just is it not, a benefit to know who you're going to talk to? You know, again, don't bring it up in the interview. Now, don't be creepy. You find out that this person that you're interviewing with may be have a similar interest as yours. Maybe their kids have the same soccer group as yours, or maybe they go to the same religious service or something like that. Don't say, "Hey, I googled you and I know we go to the same church." Like, don't be weird. Like, but it is good to know that person. Maybe they have a similar backgrounds, went to the same type of school. You get to see their face. They're going to do the same thing with you. It is a competitive advantage for those that may have these accounts over someone that doesn't. I mean, put yourself in the interviewer's, position. If you have 4 or 5 candidates and all 4 of them, you can look and you can find stuff on them. And then there's this one person that seems very obscure. Yeah, they have a great resume, but you can't find anything about them. If you're the type of, company that looks that up, you may have look at this person sideways. You may say to yourself, "Oh, did they really work at these places? How come they don't have an online presence?" Now, do all companies look you up? No. Do most companies? I'm gonna say 50% or more, they do. And I often say that having no online presence is like having no credit. And if you've ever used credit, you know that having no credit, you may as well just have bad credit because, most creditors are going to be like, well, how come I can't find you? How come there's no record of your ability to pay? Nowadays, companies want to know, why aren't you promoting yourselves? Like, you're in a career. Why are you not promoting your career? Right? So, yes, everything that you post online is what they call a digital footprint. In chapter 4, yes, people can find it. So if you know that you're the type of person that does a lot of, back and forth online, maybe you post to a lot of news feeds or things like that. Yeah, it may be nice to maybe clean some of that stuff up. I'm not going to say they're going to be searching through different news feeds, but just be mindful that you're going into a career now, so you can't, you got to be careful what you post. Like, how many times have we seen people lose their jobs over what they've posted online, right? And you may say, well, that's their personal business, but you have to put yourself in the position of the company. Does anybody here have kids? Give me a quick thumbs up if you have kids. There was this lawsuit you may have heard of, okay, about a teacher. And you tell me if you had a kid, maybe in the 4th grade, maybe they have a social studies kid, teacher, and somehow this teacher's fan page, and hopefully y'all know what I'm talking about, got discovered by the school, and they fired the teacher. I want to know by a quick thumbs up, how would you feel if your kid came across their social studies teacher's fan page? Would that be an issue for you? Quick thumbs up if you would be like, "Oh, wait a minute now, social studies lady," or man or woman. Quick thumbs up if yeah, that might be an issue, right? That's just, especially for those of us that have children, and we may be like, "Hey, I'm not at the point to where I'm teaching them all that, and I sure don't want you teaching them anything, right? I want you teaching them, social studies, right?" Most people would have an issue with that. For obvious reasons. Why? First of all, you want your child focused on with the learning, not any other personal thing. And students do look up their teachers. Sorry. A lot of teachers will even encourage their students to look them up because maybe the teacher has some type of um, you know, education related website, but you're letting kids onto these pages. Kids are very savvy. They can find things, right? So she did get fired, and of course she appealed it. And I forgot what happened from it. But by that same token, we've all have seen, and I hate to use this phrase now because it's bad. Let me make sure there's no. Body with this name here. Okay, so y'all all know the Karen effect, right? And what that happens, and when people, call the person's boss and they get fired and all that kind of drama. Like, we don't want that drama. Is it a real thing? We all know we're seeing it in real time. It is a real thing. So don't have stuff that people may find about you, or if you have something online, now you do what you want to do. It is your constitutional right to have freedom of speech. That is your constitutional right. However, be mindful that companies, private companies, do not fall within the Constitution on who can, who they have to hire and fire based upon what you put on the internet. So the constitutional right only applies to state actors. It does not apply to the private entity. So that's why companies can say, hey, well, I want you to have a certain, protocol if you're going to be working for us because, you're part of our community at large and, they don't want it to look disfavorably upon them, right? All right. So, of course, now after all that, you might say, well, why do I even want to be online? Well, you are a professional and you want to promote yourself, right? And especially if you're going to start your own business, which I know many people have said that they wanted to, you need an online presence. It can work in your favor. I tell people start a new page, keep your page private, and yes, you're in a career field now, so you just have to be careful what you post, but also start a new page. And maybe you've decided that you want to, if I'm a electrical person, maybe I've decided I want to be a subject matter expert in my field because I want to become a master electrician one day and maybe even start my own business. So I'm going to start a page, all things electrical in the Central Florida area. I've always had a love for low voltage stuff, so I'm going to start my Instagram page. I'm going to post what's happening, contracts, how IT is affecting my career. I may have a little feed. I'm not saying go crazy and start being a blogger. I'm just saying if you're going to have a page anyway, why not have a page where it highlights your career, right? Does that make sense? If you get a new job, you can post that, what's happening in your company, post that. If someone goes to Google you, what are they going to see? Well, they're going to see what your most recent stuff is. And most importantly, they're going to see that. You can even be proactive and put it on your resume, your Instagram account, where you're talking about things that are electrical, in nature, even if all you're doing is reposting something. That is what you want people to see. You are trying to be a subject matter expert. Maybe you want, if you're in the VA field and you are really big on the aquatic animals, we're in Florida and your focus is on, saltwater animals or however you want to do it. And you have a page that's focused on that. Like, you want people to start looking at you in a professional sense. Does that make sense, guys? I really don't want anybody to think, oh, we're trying to tell you what to do with your personal social platforms, but we want you to start looking at it in a way that benefits you. Companies do it. Look at what happened with the companies. Companies are like, you mean to tell me, and this is part of the reason why um, news stations, the news, and other local stations are starting to go on the decline. What nobody's talking about is, why do I have to pay for all these commercials when, as a company, I could just go on social media and I could put up my own platform and I could just pay influencers or do different things to push content out and get people on my page. And it's free. That's why you don't see as many commercials. I don't know if you've ever even taken time to watch TV. I don't watch much, but if you ever watch, you'll see the same commercials over and over again because other companies have gotten really savvy about using social media, and it's a free platform. So if companies are telling you how innovative and effective social media is, think about it for yourself. There's so many people that are promoting themselves on social media, and you should do the same. Right now, you're just starting out in your career. It may not seem like a big deal to you, but trust me, if you're going to start your own business, if you're going to start becoming, go up in your career, it's going to be important. You're reducing your industry, right? How big is the HVAC industry in Florida? How big is it in Central Florida? Now, it might be bigger than Alaska, but essentially, how big is it? So your the more specialized you become, the smaller your pool, right? unless you are going to be national and travel and things of that nature. Most people are regional in nature, and you're going to get to know everything going on in your industry, who the key players are, who the major companies are, who the minor companies are, what they specialize in. um, so you may as well start to think along those lines now, and start to use it. And then the big one is through networking, right? Again, getting connected to people in those industries. It should come natural for you to think, oh, okay, well, if I'm on LinkedIn, who are the major companies in my industry? Let me go to their accounts, right, and connect with them right away, so you'll know what's happening. Maybe not for this first job, but maybe for that second or third job. If you know you want to start your own business, and maybe you're wanting to get into a specific company, you can't get in now, connect with them on LinkedIn. Follow them, see what they're doing, befriend some of their HR people. When I say befriend, it's more like network with some of their HR people. It works, guys. It works. So, that's my advice to you. In chapter 4, it even talks about, starting to do your professional signature blocks, even if it's a simple first name, last name, electrical technician, HVAC technician, VA. You can put, what your, if you got a certification after that, or whatever your diploma, diploma based, or however you want to do it, and start putting that in your email block. No, you don't have to do it if you're emailing a friend, but how many of us are emailing friends nowadays? Most of us are using our email for professional reasons. You don't have to work at a company to start to use professional email accounts. Now, again, like I said, networking is going to be key. And this is one of the main reasons why we want you to start your LinkedIn page. You don't have to have a profession, I mean, a real one. Like, if some of you may already have a LinkedIn, give me a quick thumbs up if you already have a LinkedIn. I know I asked about social platforms, but which one do you have a LinkedIn? Good. So, for those of you that have a LinkedIn already, this assignment is going to be really easy for you, because you're literally just going to post your URL for your LinkedIn account. For those of you that don't have one, maybe you're like, oh, I don't really want one right now. All you have to do for this assignment, because you will be doing one, you could just do a fake one, right? The purpose of it being done in this class is so that you know how to go through the mechanics of starting a LinkedIn page. So even if you want to put a fake one up there, or maybe you use your real email and just put some fake stuff, whatever you want to do. Because I know some people are, like, oh, I don't want to do one. That's your prerogative. You do it, let me see that you've done it, and then you can just take it down. No big deal, right? But for the rest of us that are saying no, I understand it's important, and or I want to do it now, then this is your opportunity to actually set one up. It's very similar to any other platform. You don't have to link with anybody that you don't want to, and people are not going to be just on your site. It's not like, other platforms, like, people just don't scroll and are on your sites typically. If you see LinkedIn, it's going to be people that you're connected to, or companies that you're connected to. Yes, LinkedIn will give you some suggestions, but it's not as informal as the other platforms. Now, oh, let me just tell you this right quick. Let me give my disclaimer. I am not an X fan, and I say that specifically because I was a Twitter fan. Anybody else used to like Twitter? Give me a thumbs up if you were a Twitter person. Let me tell you, I was such a. I'm not gonna say I was such a deep Twitter person, but Twitter used to be. Now you tell me who gave me a thumbs up. I want to see who that. Let me see. KC. So that is Kaya. Now, Kaya, you tell me. Twitter used to be the place to be to learn about news, right? If you wanted to know worldly news, what's going on, every company had a Twitter account. Am I not right about that, Kaya? Like, Twitter was the place to. It was reputable. It was, you knew what was going down everywhere. And then it became X, and then it became like a, almost like a, I don't know, but the quality of work is not there. A lot of companies left, it's not as professional, now if you go on there, I mean, you really got to drill down and I guess connect with the right things to get the quality that used to be there. So I'm super disappointed in Twitter, because how far from grace it has fallen. So I'm not even going to suggest anybody go on to X, you know, used to say go on to Twitter because Twitter was that professional place to be. I don't know how many of you use X now. I mean, obviously, if you still use it, that's fine for you. But I'm not going to promote it because I think there's too much inappropriate stuff on there now. But maybe it's just me. But at any rate, maybe it'll come back around. Who knows? Um, Instagram, again, believe it or not, Instagram can be a great place. You just have to make sure you do your configuration of your Instagram properly. It's gonna send you stuff that you see mostly. So make sure that you are clicking on what's important to you. If you're in a VA program, make sure you give it those parameters so that you'll get quality results. So that's for all social platforms, obviously. But again, if you're going to use it professionally, make sure that you're using the right configuration so that you can get good quality information. All right. So that's all we really have to say about the online account because, like I said, you guys will be setting up one, and that's what we want you to focus on this week. So let me get right into your question because I promised you guys I get you out of here. Your question for today, and thinking about this networking, is to name at least three places, or it could be a combination of people and places you may want to use to grow your network. So, for example, it could be the classroom. Like if you're setting up LinkedIn, my friends, if at a minimum, connect with each other, even if you're not connecting with the entire class, even though most of you should. I mean, sorry, VA for a minute, but definitely electrical, HVAC, and welding. Like, come on, these are brother sister trades, right? All y'all should be connecting to each other. I say connect to me. I probably have over 300-400 students that have taken my class, this type of class from me, and they all connect with me, and I see them connecting with each other. They just use me as a platform to connect with each other, because you guys don't necessarily know, my other, people in the classes, and they connect with one another. So use it, right? Um, so you may say this class, you may say you're one of your instructors, you may say that, you're going to connect with a company that you're interested in, right? Just give me three places, right? And tell me which ones you are using now. Now, when it comes to your assignment, I think your assignment is LinkedIn today. I didn't put it on here, but this will help you to start the networking. And then also with your assignment from yesterday, I think it was, start engaging with the leadership person, asking questions and using them as a networking tool as well, right? All right, that's what I have to say for today. And I see some people already jumped off, they had a meeting. Some people have their interviews, so I promise to get you guys out of here. Do we have any questions for me? Sounds good. All right, I'm going to just stop this recording really quickly.